What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel. Check out the content. And I want to speak on this video. I want to speak on like some of what some of the fans are talking about as far as Caitlin Clark, right? And some fans are asking or requesting that Stephanie White be let go as a coach. That some fans don't feel like Stephanie White is a good fit for Caitlin Clark. And I even heard, saw some fans want to bring back the coach that she had at Iowa, right? Which I don't think that's a good idea. Now, also, I don't think it's a good idea to get rid of Stephanie White. But I do think that there's a learning process that's going on here with Stephanie White and Caitlin Clark. But this is Caitlin Clark's second coach, and so last year she had Christy Sides. And I thought that Christy Sides, in my opinion, I thought Christy Sides was a good coach. I just thought that Christy Sides didn't get enough, just get the opportunity to develop with Caitlin Clark. And so now that things, like the Fever have lost a couple games in a row, the people are, questioning like Stephanie White's coaching and some of her decision making throughout the game. And that comes with coaching though. If you win, then it was a good decision. Every decision that you made during the game is good most of the time. But if you lose, then people call into question everything you do, right? And I just think that what's going on here is eh, is the fact that they're developing. Now, I hope that this FIFA organization don't buckle to the pressure of the fans and you know get rid of Stephanie White no matter what happens this season, right? Like because right now the Indiana Fever are 6 wins and 7 losses, right? And let's say they end up being like a 500, they have like a 500 record. I still think that, like this is a work in progress and it's something that that the Indiana Fever needs to work their way through. You know, not only because if you put Caitlin Clark in a position where she'll have like 3 coaches in like 3 years or something like that, I just don't think that's from a management standpoint and a player development standpoint. I don't think that'll be good for Caitlin Clark. I think that will be like the WNBA letting her down. You know, she this is a situation where she needs to ride this out with a great coach because there are players, like the competition in the WNBA is tough. So she needs that stability in this organization. She can't have that. I mean, that would be almost like if you run Stephanie White out of Indiana, that would be like you basically ruining this young lady's career. They need to develop that bond through these up and downs, that trust that comes with going through trials and tribulations. They in it. They have to. This organization needs to stick this out with her. If they trade and or if they run Stephanie out of the league, I'm not out of the league, but off this team, then you will stunt Caitlin's Caitlin's growth. Because what will happen is somebody else will come in, another coach will come in, and they'll come in with their philosophy, their way of doing things. And so instead of moving forward on this team, even learning from your mistakes, now you'll fall behind and you'll have to learn somebody else's system. You have to learn somebody else's, you have to develop chemistry with somebody else. You have to develop trust with someone else. Um, and that'll be a setback. That will definitely be a setback. I think this is something that these two, like, these two women need to work through themselves. This is something that they, like, really, basically, if I'm management, if I'm the Indiana Fever organization, these two, Stephanie White and Caitlin Clark, are connected at the hip. No matter what happens, they have to be able to ride this out. Um, Now, even before I would get rid of the coach, I would make some player adjustments, try different combinations of players around Caitlin Clark. But these two, the coach and your star player, um, I mean, those two positions right now should be etched in stone, in my opinion. So when people are calling, like saying that, this young lady, Stephanie White, should be run out of town, and if they run Stephanie White out of town, then this makes Caitlin Clark, a coach, like she ruined coaches' careers and stuff like that. Which I don't think so. I think that Caitlin Clark is the kind of player who is I think she's very coachable. I think that because I think she understands the game of basketball. And she seems to be very coachable, open to open to coaching. Just like when they beat the New York Liberty, and at the press conference where Coach Stephanie White says that, yeah, she needed to introduce her to the other player who was wide open after the game. I just thought that, that was Stephanie White just letting Caitlin Clark know that, that, like, there was some opportunities. You played a great game. Everybody was patting her on her back, but Stephanie White kind of brought her back down to earth and said that there were some opportunities that we missed. There were some opportunities, some money that was left on the table, so to say, right? And so, and that's a coach's job, is to make sure that their star player never get complacent. And so a player like Caitlin Clark, that's what she wants. She wants somebody who is not going to allow her to get complacent, and that's going to help her to keep her eye on the prize. And so I think that Stephanie White is definitely the coach for her. I'm hearing people already, and like I said, if this team turn out to just be a 500 team for this season, I mean, it is what it is. Every game is like an opportunity for Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, their core, just to continue to get closer, develop that chemistry. This only, you know what I mean? This is like their second season together. The coach is, this is the coach first season with this core. So well, this is our first season with this team in general. So it just amazes me like how fast some people just want to make changes, how fast some people just want to jump ship, and and start all over, when starting all over, in my opinion, is just not the solution for this situation. You know, and some of that could be like people who are naysayers, people who are out there talking about, I told you so. I told you that Caitlin Clark wasn't what we said she was. I told you that it was just a lot of hype and stuff like that. I don't believe that, like, there's a lot of hype or overhype around her. You can just watch her game, but it's just the fact that everybody, her game do have some she could get better in some places, and she's getting scouted. Like, the longer she played, the more people, the more people get comfortable with playing against her, and the more people know her game. But and the thing about that, which I like about her too, is she constantly working on her game. So that you don't have. I'm not really worried about people being able to, like, oh, she can only go left when she shoot that logo three. She like to go left. There's just so much stuff that she do, so I would never worry about that aspect of it, her getting comfortable. I just think that the organization should, maintain a level of stability and not really make any rash decisions or any changes, depending on, what happens this season with, with the Indiana Fever. But, yeah, that's, some fans out there just, like want to jump ship already or want to make changes already. And so that's my thought on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.